This is a short video on how to write a chemical formula. So when you write a chemical formula, you have to know the chemicals you're using. Let's write a chemical formula for a compound of aluminum and chlorine. When we write chemical formulas, we're going to deal with subscripts. We're deciding what subscripts to write. So first thing we're going to do is find the chemical symbol for each. Aluminum is Al on the periodic table, and chlorine is Cl. The other thing we're going to determine is the oxidation number, or how many electrons will they give or take. So I know chlorine on my periodic table is in group 7A. Here it is, getting there, group 7A chlorine, which means it's going to take 1 electron. And aluminum is in group 3A, which means it's going to give 3 electrons. So I'm going to decide, okay, so that means chlorine is a negative, or an oxidation number of -1, and aluminum is a 3+, or an oxidation number of +3. When it binds together, we'll have oxidation numbers. So I'm going to show the easy way to do this, called the crisscross method. So I'm just going to take and write a 1 here, because if there's no number, that means 1. I'm going to cross out the charge, cross out the sign, and I'm going to take this number 3 and draw an arrow, and take this number 1 and draw an arrow. Now I'm going to move the number where I drew the arrow. Let's ignore this. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite aluminum, and I took that 1 down there, so I can write a 1, but I don't have to because a 1 is understood. Then I'm going to take that 3, it goes with chlorine, so I'm going to write chlorine, and I'm going to write the 3. So aluminum chloride. Let's do one more for practice. One more for practice. If you've got it, you don't need to do one more. Let's do carbon and fluorine. Carbon and fluorine. Okay, so carbon on my periodic table is in group 4A, which means it's going to give away 4 electrons. And fluorine is in group 7A, it's a halogen, which means it only needs 1 more electron, so that means it'll take 1 electron. So I'm going to do that crisscross method. I'm going to cross out the charge, the sign. I'm going to cross out the sign. I'm going to take the number and switch them and put them as subscripts. C1F4. CF4. Now when I do that, I'm done, totally done. Make sure we do not ever write a sign, no positives or negatives here. A compound is neutral, it has no charge. Ions have charge. What if we have one with an ion? Like, let's do sodium and the phosphate ion. Okay, sodium is Na, and it's a group 1A, so it will give 1 electron. And phosphate is PO4 3 negative. We have to memorize that. You can't just know it, you got to memorize it. There's a way to figure it out that's beyond our course. All right, so we're going to get rid of the signs. We're going to do our crisscross method. I have sodium 3, and I need 1 PO4, so I'm just going to put PO4. What if I need more than 1? Now remember, those ions stay together, so think of them as a unit. If I need more than 1, like let's say I have calcium, let me write it out, calcium and the hydroxide ion. Okay, hydroxide is OH minus. Calcium gives away 2 electrons. So I'm going to need 1 calcium and 2 hydroxides. 1 calcium. For 2 hydroxides, I need to put a parenthesis around my ion and then put my 2, because the 2 applies to each part of that ion. So I have 2 oxygens and 2 hydrogens, or 2 hydroxide ions. And that is writing chemical formulas.